Welcome to the Visual AUM podcast, where your voice is heard.
Hello and welcome to Everything AUM, the visual podcast that brings you closer to the faces and stories of people who make our institution what it is. I'm Liana and I'll be your host for this special segment in the show. In this series, we'll be sitting down with individuals who have walked these halls and grown within our community, and now are off to make their own mark in the world, our alumni. Today's guest is not only one of our own, but someone we interact with nearly every day. From being the valedictorian of the class of 2023 to now serving as the student affairs coordinator here at AUM. Clara Youssef is a familiar and a well-beloved presence on campus. Clara, welcome to the show. You're a familiar face to everyone at AUM. But for those tuning from outside, tell us, who is Clara Youssef behind the job title?
Hey everyone, my name is Clara Youssef. I am of Egyptian origin and I studied business administration here at the American University of Malta, and I am 23 years old.
Ooh. You were the valedictorian of your graduating class in 2023. What did that moment mean to you, especially standing on the stage looking back at your journey now?
I think, like, from a holistic point of view, it was just very empowering to be recognized for something you worked really hard for. And I know that sometimes the valedictorian title can be a lot of pressure, but I took it as this is an achievement.
A reward.
Yeah.
Let's rewind to the first day you walked at AUM. As a student, what were your first impressions?
So, a lot of people don't know this, but when I first came to Malta, I heard of American University of Malta, but I obviously didn't see the campus before. And it happened to be that me and my parents were having coffee across the road, and we saw this really big building. I was like, oh my god, that's the university, like, I want to go check it out. So my first instinct was it's massive, like that, it's huge. I didn't expect it to be as nice as it is in person. And I think once I went into the building and I met a few people from the staff, I was like, wow, this is like real. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And actually, SEDA said the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think thanks for our engineers for creating such a nice building.
Shout out engineers, for sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
Was there a particular course, professor, or moment during your time as a student that truly shaped your perspective or inspired you?
I think one of the courses I did in my last semester was Management Information Systems. It was with a professor called Professor Alan Brash. And he was such a fun professor, first and foremost. Obviously, shout out Dr. Jessica as well. She was amazing.
Of course.
But specifically in that course, we were given creative freedom to come up with a business idea, and we had to sell it, right? And I think that's the first time I was ever put into, like, the perspective of, I never got into, like, I never went in tune with my creative side, so it was always like coursework or like research. It wasn't like you pick it. Yeah. So this time it was like, no, you have full creative freedom. Do whatever you want with it and bring me a pitch.
Wow.
So it was like
what
real
did
life.
What did you choose?
I remember, I think our main topic was we were a digital makeup shop. And it was because VRs were still not a thing then.
Yeah.
So we created a digital space for you to buy makeup and like swatch makeup and get makeup tested. So they found it so interesting because obviously like AI and all that was still back in 2023. Like AI was just introduced. Like we didn't have ChatGPT, we didn't have all that. So we actually went
so you're one of the OGs.
I actually did the word, guys.
You actually earned it.
Crazy. No, but it was such a fun idea, and I think that it was cool because we also had a few guys on our team, so they didn't know how in depth the makeup choice like was.
They were enlightened, I'm sure.
They didn't know what it took to actually pick makeup and how hard it actually was. So it was very, very very enriching.
Keep an eye out in the beauty industry for your.
No one take my
idea.
idea. I should trademark it.
Yeah,
quick,
you should.
real quick.
Should we cut this?
No, it's fine.
Okay, if you could describe your student journey at AUM in only 3 words, what would they be?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's quite tough to sum up actually. Definitely enriching.
Okay.
I want to say it was fun because definitely made memories that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. And I would say surprising because you never know what you're going to get.
Why surprising?
I think surprising stems from the fact that I remember one of my most vivid memories of AUM was when COVID was just announced and we were all in the library and no one knew what was going to happen, and AUM was quite quick to actually react to that, and we got an email the day of telling us what was going to happen, and we switched to online in, I want to say, a number of days. And the switch was surprising, but it was done so efficiently that we didn't feel it be such a huge thing when it was full of magnitude. It was huge. It was one of the biggest events ever in the world. So I think surprising for sure, but in a good way. We were surprised, but they handled the situation really efficiently and we were able to move on from it quickly.
That's true. That's good. Fast forward. Tassel turn, diploma in hand, perfect valedictorian, and suddenly you're not just walking the halls as a student, but as a full-time employee. Also, fun fact, Clara was the MOC for our graduation ceremonies in 2024 and 2025. Now that you're a part of the staff, especially student affairs, how different does AUM feel to you on this side of the experience?
I think it made me appreciate the staff in hand and how much work actually goes on behind the scenes. I think a lot of people from face value don't actually realize the day-to-day operations, and for us, obviously we're colleagues, so we go through this stuff every day, but when you actually go through details and go through the planning process, and actually especially in the summer period, I think now we actually do a lot more of the intense work, and it's really fast-paced because we don't have a lot of students in-house because obviously everyone's on vacation, so we actually sit down and get to the nitty-gritty of the work, and it made me appreciate how hard people work here at AUM and how much we can actually make a difference and even grow and grow even more.
That's true. That's true.
So that's for sure.
What motivated you to join AUM after graduation, or was it always a part of your plan?
So it was definitely not part of my plan. Let me put it out there. First and foremost, I actually volunteered during my time, and I think it was my second or third year. I think it was my third year. It was just after we got back from COVID, everyone started becoming in person again, and that's when the Office of Student Affairs was actually vacant. And I was speaking to the previous management at the time, and they told me, hey, we see that you're very passionate about the student union. We're very, you know everyone really well. Would you be interested in volunteering part-time? And at first I was like, oh my God, this is a lot. I have to worry about my studies, and I didn't know how that was gonna look day to day, but it actually managed to be okay. I worked in the Office of Student Affairs as a part-timer to begin with. So my day-to-days was basically assisting students with any inquiries, any queries. I wasn't really deep into it or anything. It was more helping day-to-day operations, and then I would report to if there was any queries or things that needed to be brought up. But it was just basically an extension added to student union, so it wasn't so much pressure. So that's how it started.
So it just passed on.
And then after I graduated, I was actually on the hunt for another job, and they offered me a full-time position, and I couldn't pass it up because I was still really close.
Attached. It's true. How does your role now allow you to give back to the same community you were once a part of?
I think a lot of the limitations that we had back then are now something that we can offer to our students. So I think being in that perspective of a student to understand their needs helps me tailor more of for example, our events, our initiatives to our students. So I was once in your place, so I feel that's such a great connection to make, especially with the people that you're working around as well, that you understand them. So once you understand them, you can tailor to their needs more.
Yes, that's true.
So I think that's very
100%.
Yeah.
What have you learned about students and maybe even yourself since taking this role?
This is a funny question. Oh my God. I think that one thing that you need to know is to be able to actually get a message across, you need to relay that message 6 times before it actually is, before it's actually like absorbed, because a lot of times people will miss a message.
That's
so
true.
I think using several channels helps us to reach out to them and maybe reach them in a better capacity.
That's true. That's
so
true. Especially
6 times.
Especially in students.
Yes, definitely.
Let's pause and reflect.
Yeah.
Okay, beyond the degree, the job titles, what's your emotional takeaways? You're someone the students feel really comfortable with. Okay, you're easy to approach by them, and they just like you. Everybody likes you. How do you maintain that balance between being approachable and professional?
Okay. This is not an easy question to answer, obviously. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a very emotional person, but it's not easy behind the scenes by all means. Like, I know that everyone faces their own struggles, everyone goes through things, but I think one thing that helps me maintain it is to actually take it day by day. I think that's very important. A lot of people think about, oh, like, what am I gonna do in a year? What am I gonna do in 5? Focus on now. What are you doing today? What are you doing tomorrow? Don't go too far ahead.
Yeah.
Because whilst it's good to plan, of course, I never doubt that. Definitely plan, but don't put pressure on yourself to like reach a specific target at a specific time, because then you're setting unrealistic expectations for sure. I think that one thing I learned for sure was just to take a step back, slow down, take it day by day, and then see where it takes you, because that way you can tackle things as they come rather than let them pile up and then it becomes really overwhelming.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Based on that, sometimes at work we feel overwhelmed, underappreciated, when we have a lot of tasks, a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
What's one moment or interaction with a student that always reminds you why you love what you do and why you're doing it still?
I think one interaction that was really like stand out for me was we just started doing focus group like surveys, and part of that was we had our first clubs and associations meeting last semester, and I'm talking about the focus groups now. Basically, we were speaking to students about their ideas and what they wanted to do and how they wanted to grow the community for the students. And obviously, besides the student union, one of our students actually is a really great artist, and her work is amazing. She was part of that meeting, and she wanted to start a theater and arts club. And we told her like the instructions of how to do so, and like we broke it down for her. And I think that interaction itself, just with that one student, I think helped me understand that actually, you know what? Sometimes it doesn't need to be so extravagant and big for it to be so special.
Worth it.
Yeah, and they had some great ideas in that meeting. There was a theater club, there was a chess club, there was an MMA club. So I think that just breaking that barrier and getting to them one-on-one kind of told them like, hey, these things are still normal, even though obviously technology is way ahead of us. And no, like sometimes just a simple club to gather some students for free time.
And that's what made you appreciate what you do.
100%, because sometimes I'm like, oh, like, what's the point of doing this? Or what's this gonna do? But once you actually have feedback firsthand, you can see the effect that what you have done is
how
actually
you're
giving
giving
something.
hope to people and to students to grow
100%.
and to give them the creative space and freedom they need.
100%, because it gets boring to sit in an office, people. Like,
That's true.
People don't understand, like, sometimes it gets really boring. Like, you need to have that interaction, and honestly, I've really, really grown to appreciate interactions with people so much more. And even just sitting down with your colleagues to have a 5-10 minute chat over coffee, like, breaking down those barriers, getting closer with your colleagues and your friends, I think that's something that's invaluable in my experience here, for sure.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And now that you've lived the full circle experience, we'll call it that actually, from student to graduate to staff, what words of wisdom would you have to the ones walking behind you? Looking back, also, a compliment question, what advice would you give your past self, maybe on those late nights of studying or moments of self-doubt, which can also benefit people who are on the line? Current and future students.
Wow. That's a deep question.
Is it?
Very deep. Very well written, may I add. I think first, for the late nights and all that, definitely don't procrastinate, because one thing that I learned
Don't
is
leave today's work for tomorrow.
it does pile up. It will get to you. You will miss deadlines. Take that from experience. I think, I think that goes back to like taking it day by day. Like if you have a task or something to do, make sure you get it done like as soon as you can.
As much of it as you can.
Yeah, you don't have to finish it in a day, obviously. Like just try and like take it chunk at a time, not one big chunk, because that will bite you later on. And then in terms of from student to staff, I think one of the most important things is try and like step out from the crowd a little bit. I know that it's hard and it's easier said than done, and a lot of times we do a lot of like workshops on like CV writing and like how to make yourself make a great first impression. I think one thing that solidified in me and helped me grow my self-confidence in myself was actually like understanding the route. For example, if you're applying for a media or graphic design job, don't just give them a boring CV that just has like your name and what you've done and your experience. More often than not, like when they meet you in person, they'll judge you much more than what they'll judge you over a piece of paper. Now, I want to like reiterate the fact that setting yourself apart from others doesn't mean that that's based on skill level or how much you've done. It's about you as a person. At the end of the day, we're all human. 100%. Like, I guarantee you, if a manager had a stack of papers of CVs
and he gets yours in a box of donuts.
Yeah, and he gets yours in a box of donuts, he's gonna pick the donuts. Make sure you step out of the box, like be creative. Like a lot of times people think that, oh no, like I have to be like professional, I have to be strict, I have to be eloquent. Well, no, but most often than not, it's they're judging you in person. And make sure you set yourself apart, whether it be showing your quirky side, whether it be doing something different to show your CV or providing it a new avenue. Like it's really all just depending on what you're doing, what you're looking for, and how you want to proceed with your career.
Before we wrap up, quick fire questions.
Let's go. Hit me.
Favorite memory from your student days?
Ooh, COVID announcement.
Okay. One thing you miss about being a student?
Ooh, definitely working more creatively.
Fair. Coffee or matcha? During exam season though?
Exam season, coffee for sure. For leisure, matcha. You know me and my matcha. Both. Both.
Both. Hidden talent no one at AUM knows you have.
Ooh.
I'm excited for this.
I'm quite artistic. Like I like to like draw a little bit.
You paint?
Not painting, like you know, like I used to like practice fonts, like bubble writing, like calligraphy.
Wow,
like,
gotta see those.
Fun fact.
If AUM were a person, how would you describe that?
Oh God.
Can you visualize AUM as a person?
Oh my God. Honestly, a night. Because I feel like we've been working a lot on our mascot.
Fair.
So when I think AUM, I think nights.
Fair.
So
yeah.
Quick fire. Describe them. Very hard exterior, very soft interior.
Ooh, fancy stuff. I like this.
Love that.
Now, we're done with quick fire questions.
Okay.
Sorry.
Woo. Got me getting sweaty up in here.
Before we end, one last big one. What does AUM mean to you, both as a student and now as someone helping to shape student life?
Ooh, definitely that AUM is definitely my second family.
Oh.
I think we have such a closely bonded community, even if people from different departments you wouldn't think get along. I think everyone in this place gets along.
We all get along.
I think no matter how big or small you are, I think everyone recognizes that we all get along, we all want to work together, and at the end of the day, we're team players. And we all are working towards the same goal, I think, and then that's really like humbling.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is, and it's really connecting. It's grounding.
Yeah, and if it didn't feel like that in my work environment, I think it would be very like hard and demotivating. Yeah.
Yes.
So definitely family, community, and trust. 3 more words for you. Sorry, I'm just rapid firing over here.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you guys so much.
And for being such a big part of AUM.
Of course.
You make AUM feel home for so many people and so many students, so you're always appreciated for that.
Thank you so much.
And for our listeners and viewers, we hope you've enjoyed today's conversation. Stay tuned for more inspiring alumni stories right here on Everything AUM.